3. So hello everyone in the 5 continents. Welcome to another edition of our international English online meetings. This morning we have the visit of 3 wonderful professionals from Panama, Eva, Oderay, and Zuleika. Welcome, dear girls.
Our pleasure.
Thank you for being here and thank you for giving us part of your time on a Sunday morning. So as usual, let me share my screen. Okay, here it is. And voila. Well, as you can see, this is our 131st International English Online Meeting. All the videos, the past videos, you can find them in our YouTube channel. Who are our upcoming guest speakers in 2025? Well, next month in June, James Swissler from Australia. Then in June, we'll have the TESOL professors, Carlos, Hazel, Martha, and Evelyn on June 22nd. Then in July, beautiful month because it's my birthday, we will have the visit of our friends and colleagues from ELTA TESOL. Then in August, the guest speakers will be from Beta TESOL, Bolivia, Karina, Paola, and Isela. Then in September, the guest speakers are Evelyn and Princess from Puerto Rico. Then in October, Marcela Burgos from Argentina. Then in December, Kathy, Adriana, Claudia from ASOCOPI. But today, who is presenting today? Well, thanks to Maria Gracia. Thank you, Maria Gracia. She helped me to contact these wonderful professionals from the different groups of TESOL in Latin America. We have Eva Ramos, Oderay Quijada, and Zuleika Zapateiro. Something to say about Eva. Eva Ramos has over 25 years of experience as an EFL teacher, working with students from preschool to university. She teaches at Ruben Dario Elementary School and OTEIMA University's MA in TESOL program. She holds a BA in English and MA in TESOL and has presented at TESOL International. Ms. Ramos is also a teacher trainer and former Hubert H. Humphrey Fellow. Then we have Oderay Quijada, graduated from the University of Panama with a BA in English and obtained her master's in TESOL from Universidad Latina de Panama. Then she has over 20 years of experience teaching English at various levels in both public and private institutions. Oderay, Panama TESOL past president, has presented at the TESOL International Convention and various TESOL affiliates conventions. Oderay is currently pursuing her PhD in English linguistics at the University of Panama. She also works at the University and IPT Don Bosco. And last but not least, we have Zuleika Zapateiro, holds a master's degree in TESOL and has taken courses in teacher training, leadership, ESP, and reflective teaching. She has over 25 years of experience and has participated in national and international education events. She's an active member of Panama TESOL, TESOL International, and IATEFL. Zuleika is an EFL teacher working with the Ministry of Education and Universidad Latina de Panama. So thank you so much, dear friends from Panama. And we are going to start with Eva. So Eva, the screen is yours. And thank you everyone for being here.
Okay, let me just share the sound just in case. And let me look for my presentation. So welcome everyone. It's great to be part of this experience and I congratulate Jaime on his initiative and being on the 131st meeting. That's huge.
Yes, that
Hopefully
is huge.
more, we will get more. So it's hard for me to present the AI tools in just 30 minutes, but I will do my best. So what what I did for this particular presentation was to select my favorite ones. Are. So I'm going to give you some pointers on how to bring AI tools into your English language classes. So I selected 4 just for you. So I'm Eva Ramos. It's a pleasure to be with you today. And let's just start. So what will you be able to learn today? And hopefully you can continue using the rest of the year. Who knows? We're going to identify 4 tools that we can use to support material creation and language practice in our classes. And I'm going to walk you through how to make these things practical because I'm going to do some mini demos so to show you how you can use them. And at the end of this workshop, I hope that you can at least implement one this week. Who knows? Or probably all of them. So a little bit the overview for this presentation. Why using AI? That's an interesting question. Then I'm going to introduce you to the tools and some tips on how to stay current. First, let me go over here because I have a link just in case the QR code is not working. So let me share in the chat the link to the Slido so you can join, but I will also share the QR code in the next slide. So have you used AI power tools or AI before? In the chat, you can, some people are saying yes. Let me see. We have 1 person, 2 people already in the poll. Okay, good to have newcomers to the AI world. We have, wow, we are 50-50. How interesting. Hopefully at the end of the session, well, we are getting there. So we have 60-40. So that's good. So probably if you have already used AI, you will be able to at least find a new tool that you can implement. And if you haven't dared to use AI yet, this is the chance you get to learn and to lose the fear to try things new. Because as Vygotsky used to say, learning happens when we leave our comfort zone. Learning happens there, and we have to dare to try. So thank you, guys. So we have 50-50. How interesting. Let's continue. So why should we use AI in our EFL classrooms? Let me tell you, first, you save time when planning and designing. Something that I really like about AI is how I can personalize experience for my students to tailor my materials to my heterogeneous groups and in an easy and fast way. And also how I can create materials that are multimodal and that they address different learning styles. So AI is great for planning, for saving time, for creating materials for your lessons, and for helping your students to practice English in different ways. So let me just show you before AI and after AI. This is the experience. So before AI, generally, let me make this. My worksheets were taken from a website, probably with things that were not that personal. So I got like The Simpsons because was the most heterogeneous family that I could find because you have a stepmom, a stepdad. Because generally, I'm sorry to tell you, Disney families are like you can have also the stepmom, but they are not very complex as the Simpsons. So when I was teaching 6th graders, I used to look for ideas on the web, and I use things that perhaps were not that personalized to my students' needs. So that was before AI. And now I can show you after AI. Before teaching family, something that I have learned is to ask my students to draw their families. So I know how complex, how different they are. Because in books, we have like the nuclear family in a sense, and not necessarily that's the family that we have in the 21st century. So believe it or not, if you see all these family members for fourth graders and you say, what? Fourth graders? Those are the family members in my fourth grade groups. How did I have stepmoms, stepdads, that's a stepsister and brother, half sister, twins, fraternal twins, identical twins. So I have all of that last year. And thanks to AI, I was able to create a personalized worksheet addressing my students' differences, and that's one was wonderful. So not only the worksheets, the flashcards, the rubrics to assess their projects, and the family tree for the assessment part. So all of that thanks to AI and really fast. So let me walk you through how did I manage to move from before AI and after AI. In these 30 seconds, I can talk about ChatGPT the whole time, and you know why. But I won't be able to talk about Gemini and Microsoft Copilot, but I want you to be aware that all of these virtual assistants can be of a great resource with different capabilities. So what they have in common is that ChatGPT started everything, but Google Gemini evolved thanks to Google creating their own beta version that was BART, and they created their own model using natural language processing. Microsoft Copilot was developed using ChatGPT's technology. So in the free version, let me go over ChatGPT at least for this purpose, because that's the one that I use the most. The free version, you don't have to pay. Only the free version allows you to create your lessons, design rubrics that are really specific for your students. You can create materials, for example, simplified readings, simplified texts, and also adapt materials. For example, I have students that are in the autism spectrum. I also have students who have unfortunately been diagnosed with low IQs and with certain disabilities. So thanks to ChatGPT, I can take a worksheet and and address those differences with different worksheets in a matter of seconds. So if you haven't dared to use AI, this is one of the things. This is one of the reasons. You, if you're teaching higher education, if you're teaching BA students or middle school students, then also ChatGPT can become a practice language partner that they can use, and definitely personalized learning. Let me just click on my ChatGPT bot, and I'm going to show you just really quick what you can do with ChatGPT. Hopefully, I'm keeping track of my time. Don't be afraid to use ChatGPT for the first time. And if you don't want to provide your information, there's an option here that says temporary on the top of your screen. Let me see. Temporary. So if you don't want to share anything because you're afraid, just use the temporary option. That if you click here, ChatGPT won't remember anything. But if you want to train the model, to train the machine, you can use it. Let me just, and just in case, if you're using your computers and you want to practice with me, I'm going to share the link in in the chat. So one of the things that you need to be able to do is to let ChatGPT know who you are with the prompt. For example, ChatGPT is kind of my best friend, so he already knows. But just practice with Jaime. Jaime, I'm going to practice with you. And then can you give me a little background about your students?
Well, I work with students from the different schools at the university, engineering, architecture, administration, and like that.
Okay, so what would be a topic that you usually teach your students?
Likes and dislikes, for example, or future plans and intentions.
So what level would be your students right now?
Well,
Something that is important.
now I'm working with beginners, real beginners, struggling with them.
Can be like A1 minus
Yeah, that.
to A1, A2. So
Yeah.
it's a multi-level
Oh,
class.
yes, it is.
I am thinking of a dislikes and dislikes lesson. And then immediately you give what we call a prompt that allows ChatGPT to know you and your students and to start thinking, okay, this is what you can do. Some ideas, even a lesson already, Jaime,
Yeah.
for you. So you, and then you say,
Magic,
no,
magic.
magic. Like, oh, I'm not going to teach for 60 minutes. I'm going to teach for 80 minutes. So you have the objectives, the functional language, the vocabulary focus, you have the warm-up. ChatGPT is a little bit tailoring to what I generally do because he remembers my lessons and how I organize my classes. So immediately you get some ideas, see? And you have the presentation, this guided practice,
Eva,
production.
ChatGPT up here knows already about how to create eCRIF lessons and lessons based on the action-oriented approach.
Yeah.
So we've got both.
Only by feeding the system, you cool down reflection. So you already know this. So if you are going to teach different lessons, that's something that you can do. Can you create a reading for this? And then immediately you have a reading that is for your students. There you go. Can you create a listening task? So immediately you have your listening. So the good thing now, of course, we have some limits in the free version, but the good thing now is that you can even download those files as a Google Docs, as a Word document. So if you have, it says for A students, answer in complete sentence for A2 students. So can you create listening tasks for all of my levels? So all of my levels. So you need to play with the tool to be able to get your things. There you go, listening for level 1, the script, and you get everything in a matter of, in less than 3 minutes, you already have your class, Jaime.
Yeah.
And the good thing is that if you're working in teams, if another instructor is teaching the same class, you can even share the link and both of you have access to this repository of ideas. ChatGPT will remember, and on the left panel, it will have all the information, whether we like it or not, but I like it because I can access the lesson later if I want to continue generating ideas, creating a rubric, for example, and even images. The thing is that the images right now are taking a lot of time because everybody's creating images with ChatGPT for free. An image for brainstorming.
Sorry, there is a question from Luis from Ecuador.
Sure, Luis.
If the I if this artificial intelligence can create the track of the audios.
That's another application that I'm going to give you. However,
hold on, Luis Bermudez.
However, ChatGPT can read for you. Let me go. He can read it for you, but it will read the whole thing that it has produced. Let me go to the final part of a prompt. I have everything. Yeah. So at the very end, you will have access to the audio, but it will read the whole thing. So what I will do as one of my favorite tools is one that you will turn this script into audio. Thank you for Luis for your question. So this is what you can do with ChatGPT. Don't be afraid. You have plagiarism checkers. You have a library with a repository of all the images that you create for your projects will be saved there. So if I want to make things personalized, for example, my students were talking about the weather and wanted to be something more related to Panama, you can have your your images created with ChatGPT. You only have to be patient. I even created an Easter egg for more vocabulary about weather and even playing with the avatars. Things that you can create for free. I think you have like 10 prompts a day. ChatGPT also has Sora, which is a video creator for free. So explore the tools. Even the Explore GPTs are more tools that you can use for writing, productivity, education, research. The sky is the limit. That's why ChatGPT is my favorite assistant. But ChatGPT needs like a whole workshop, Jaime. So
Yes,
just this is just a taste.
that's exactly what I was going to ask you, to engage you to be present with us just with one workshop on this topic. Please, dear Eva.
Just ChatGPT, definitely. My
Okay, I
my
will
pleasure.
contact you then.
Definitely.
Thanks.
My second favorite tool is Canva. I don't know if you can raise your hand in the system if you have used Canva. Or Mary is like me. And or you can type in the chat if you have used Canva. The good thing about Canva is how easy to, to use is and how user friendly. But my tip of the day, let me open, I think I have Canva to open it here. Let me close the other things that I have open just in case. What happens with Canva is that if you have an institutionalized account from your school that is .edu, .edu would be perfect. I have at .ac academic and it doesn't allow me to create a free user. So with your school account, instead of using your personal email, if you have used Canva before, use your include your institution email. So you can put both emails. I have both emails in one single account. You can add as many accounts as you want. But through the your school email or Jaime people working at the university, you can add your university email, and probably Canva will ask you to prove, like an ID card from your institution that you are a teacher. Immediately in 2 days, you get the premium forever,
Okay,
forever, guys.
good.
Premium for education, and just if you are familiar with Canva and you have used it before, let me tell you that now that Canva has AI, of course, we had image generators before, but now Canva can create many things. Take a look. So it can design for me. It can create an image. It can draft a document. It can code for me. That's the best thing. I don't know how to code, but I would like to create a game for my students. Canva can code for me just by simple instructions, just a prompt that I give Canva similar to what I did with ChatGPT, and it will code for me. And are all the things that you can do with Canva. These are like tutorials, examples, and templates for you to know. This is in Canva AI available for for uh, for education and premium users, and some limits with some credits for anybody. Just remember, if you are creating things on your own, you don't have to anymore. You can put all your creativity into Canva and use the templates that they have available for education. If you are using growth mindset, if you're using social emotional learning, if you want to organize to have, more professional looking presentations, if you want to create flashcards just like that, this is a great tool. I love using Word, I love using PowerPoint, but now that I have Canva, things have become easier for me. And if you have your education account, you can download all the templates in any format that you want. Let me just show you one of the projects that I created recently for my student. Probably is in my other account. Here. In my projects, I created flashcards just like that. We are teaching at my school the 7 habits of happy kids, and that's another positive affirmations, a whole checklist that you can take, lesson planning, you name it. So if you haven't tried Canva yet, now that it has more resources, I highly recommend you to try it, because AI allows you to create images never created before in it, just in a click.
And what about the listening tracks that Luis Bermudez was asking about?
That was my next. So I'm keeping track.
You still got 17 more minutes. Don't worry.
Oh, well, so to go to the more multimodal thing, this is my third tool. My third tool is teaching efficiency. If you have used Magic School, or you haven't, any of these three, it was hard for me to choose one, but they are very similar. I will show you just one, but you will have in this presentation access to all of them if you click on the picture. They have multi-resources and multiple tools for teachers to use. I'm just going to open Magic School, and Magic School is free. Most of the resources are free. And the only thing that you have to do, let me show you here, is 80 plus teachers tools. So you can create rubrics, you can create surveys, you can create teacher observations, even songs that you can create for your students. If you want to have formal emails, class newsletters, report cards, team builder, icebreakers. That's why, let me share the link just in case you want to give it a try. Magic School has become after ChatGPT, my second favorite tool when it comes to, teaching related materials that I can create. So you have 80 plus tools, most of them for free. Take the chance to jump into the AI wagon, because it will save your time and it will make you think differently. It will give you new and bright ideas. Breeze Teaching and Twee with different capabilities are similar tools that you can use for creating resources for your classes. And finally, talking about, I think I have another, I think I have it in the other one. There you go. When it comes to creating multiple resources with audio, this is the application that I will recommend you to use. It is called Natural Reader.
Luego puedes ver la grabación, amiga.
It has been one of my favorite tools. Let me just open it here from a long time, Natural Readers, answering Luis' question. Natural Readers is what we call text-to-speech technology, originally invented for blind people to be able to navigate through the web using audio help. And then what happens is, if you create a resource in ChatGPT, the only thing that you have to do, that's what I did, for example, with this question number 4, is to copy the script here and then use the multiple voices that you have available for free. Originally, the voices sounded, because Natural Reader was before AI, originally the voices sounded like robotic, but now thanks to AI, the voices sound natural. So you have British English, American English, you have female, male, and if you are teaching kids just like me, I'm using a girl, child, Anna. I'm using Anna for reading most of their stories for me. So let me just play it just for you to.
What does the teacher say?
Let me start from the beginning.
Question 4. A teacher is giving instructions in class. Please write your answers in complete sentences. After you finish, check your spelling. What does the teacher say?
If you notice, it's a little bit slow because it's 0.8, so it's not normal. So here you can move the speed. One would be normal. And as my students are fourth graders, some of them A1, some of them A1 minus. So that's why I put 0.8 for the speed. So I use this, and well, what I did was to use my cell phone to record the audio and include it in to have it on my presentation for this particular activity. So natural readers, Luis, it was Luis, right? The one who asked that
Yeah, Luis
question.
Bermudez.
Luis Bermudez. Luis, natural readers is the tool that you can use to turn anything into audio. And if you have a conversation, what I do is that I open two screens, and in one screen I have a male, and in another screen I have a female, and then I paste the conversation and I record them. That's the way I do it. I'm sorry, guys. Well, anyway, in the presentation you have my favorite tools. You have video generators that in probably 1 minute you create a video for your class, but you also have image creators. That's the one if you want to personalize your worksheets or your readings with images that reflect your context, your students' interests. That's something that I will do. And Suno is another tool that you can use to create songs for your classes using the vocabulary you are teaching. So very hard in 30 minutes. So how to stay current? Keep attending professional development activities like this one. Try to join online community of practice, just what Jaime have done. This is an online community of practice where people learn from each other and their experiences. And that's how we grow as teachers. Follow people, educators, anywhere. It can be on YouTube, Instagram, people that are using AI. I have some recommendations and I will share the information with Jaime so he can share it on Facebook.
Please do, please do.
Try to experiment and collaborate. Don't be afraid. Nothing will happen. However, start little. Stick to the tools that you like. If you want to start with ChatGPT, that's the one. Start little, start one at a time until you get the hang of it. Or if probably Magic School becomes your best friend, stay to the tools that work for you and your students. So that would be, whether we like it or not, AI is here to stay. So we have to try to not fall behind and embrace it. So to stay update and teach these 21st century digital learners, because that's the way it's happening. Things are changing so fast, but we cannot fall behind, especially teachers. Try to connect and collaborate to keep up with the changes. That has worked for me. And don't forget that our students in this century need to have the 4 C's. They have to communicate, they have to collaborate, they have to develop their critical thinking skills, but they also have to be good citizens. That would be so. Change is the only constant in life. One's ability to adapt to those changes will determine your success in life. So this is my presentation, and I'm going to share with you in the chat.
And
Thank you, Jaime.
And I guess we all feel very happy and excited with your presentation, because it seems like a child's game, very easy. We felt comfortable listening to you and watching what you were explaining. And definitely, Eva Ramos, I will contact you to present a full-time workshop before the end of the year. Is that possible, Eva?
Of course, Jaime, my pleasure.
Thank you so much. So now we got a few minutes for people to give you feedback and compliments about your beautiful presentation. So anybody who wants to speak, open up your microphone now and let us know. Thank you, dear Glenda. You are over there, Glenda Gallardo. Thank you for being here. Anybody who wants to express his or her feelings now? Mary Scholl, Raj, Mauricio, Glenda, go on.
Yes, hello everybody. Well, first of all, and Well, I know Eva, and I'm very happy to see her share
Hello,
what he
Glenda.
does. Hello, missing you. And she's a pro. I've seen her in action, sharing what she does, and she's very professional in all her materials, and she really likes, I mean, teaching and the tools she's shared, as she said, it's just like a tiny bit of what we can do. As you said, we need confidence, and I think she's shown that with confidence we can do many things, and we just have to venture ourselves and jump into the world of AI and all the tools that are available to us right now. Yes, and I think the more we get together in workshops like this and have like leaders like her sharing what they do, we're going to feel more comfortable because it's doable. We see it here and there, and I'm very happy that she's sharing this with all teachers all over the world. Yes, congratulations, Eva.
Thank you, Glenda.
I look forward to seeing you. A big hug.
Yes. Thank you,
Glenda.
Thank you, dear Glenda, for your kind words. And yes, that's what I felt, comfort and confidence. Thank you so much. Mary?
Thank you, Jaime. Thank you so much, Eva. That was beautiful. It was great to have the opportunity to see how many resources we have out there, and also to go really directly into a couple and just experience the application of them. So thank you so much. And thank you for sharing your presentation. I know it's got a lot of great stuff in it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mary, for inspiring us to present also. Thank you.
I'm so glad you
Mary
did.
is a great inspirer and influencer. JC Rivera, go on briefly, please. Hello, JC.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I'll be brief, I promise. Well, I just like to echo Eva's encouragement to try it, because the thing is that sometimes we get scared by AI tools and stuff, but to be honest, I mean, I'm not like a super person, but I can tell you that artificial intelligence is quite intuitive. So just take a chance, it's like learning by playing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Eva. Lovely.
Thank you, dear JC. Where are you from, JC?
I'm from Panama. I'm Eva's brother, by the way.
I can tell. Thank you so much, dear JC. Anybody else? We have time for one more person. Briefly, please, Irma Guzman from Ecuador.
Just want to reconfirm and do it for all the great comments. Thank you, Eva. That was an eye-opener workshop. That's how I can summarize it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure. Hopefully through Jaime.
Beautiful sentence. Beautiful. No, thank you, dear Eva Ramos. I had heard so many things about you, but now I realize that it's true. It was a great presentation, and I felt very confident and comfortable and easy to follow you. And that's what I love about your presentation, dear Eva.
Thank you, guys. And my apologies. I'm going to yield the space to the rest of the Panama TESOLers because I'm teaching today. So my students are working on something, and some of them are here, but some of them are working on a project. So yeah, I'm teaching today, but online. But see you, and hopefully we get to meet in other future meetings. Thank you, Jaime, for the invitation.
See you very soon. I will contact you, and you are an example. Oh my God, Sunday sharing with us and at the same time working. Oh my God, how you do that? Thank you, dear Eva. Bye-bye. Now let's go back to Oderay. Hello, Oderay. Are you there?
Hello, Jaime. Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Before you start, let me ask, could you please switch on your cameras so I can take a photograph, please? Thank you, Glenda, for being here. I haven't seen you for ages. Okay. On 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Cynthia, Maria Elena, Ivan, Nati. Thank you so much. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you so much. So back to you.
Just quickly before we dive in the next one, I just want to welcome all the new people that came during that Eva's session. We've got people from Costa Rica and the Dominican Republic and El Salvador. So Oderay and Zuleika will be sharing with even more people. Another person from Costa Rica is here. That's awesome.
Yeah, your followers, dear Mary.
Our community.
Yeah, our community is growing. That's great. That's
Awesome.
great.
Awesome. So we're looking forward to the next.
Yeah, thank you, Oderay. You may start. The screen is all yours.
Thank you, Jaime. Good morning to all of you. Thanks for being here. It's an honor to have the opportunity to share with you this topic. Okay, let me start sharing my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Not yet. Yeah, now we can see it.
Okay, thank you. Well, this morning I have prepared this little workshop presentation for you. It is called Empowering A1 Readers, Teaching Strategy, Reading to Spanish-Speaking Learners through TSI. So we have some aims or objectives during this presentation. Oh, sorry, something is wrong here. Give a minute, please. Oh, yeah. Okay, let me see here again. Sorry for this. It's misbehaving. Okay, I'm going to do something. I'm going to stop sharing, so I'm going to change.
Okay, don't worry. It usually happens to the best speakers in the world.
Okay, so I'm going to do it like this.
Hello, Roxy in Lima. Welcome.
Okay.
So thank you to all the people who are listening to us and watching us in Facebook Live and the people who are present here. Okay, there it is, dear Oderay.
Okay.
Now we can watch it.
You have it. I'm sorry for that. Okay. So to accomplish with this session, we have some aims. And the first one is to explore a little bit about the transactional strategy instruction. And then we are going to provide some practical tools or activities that we can use to enhance comprehension and engagement in a mixed ability TESOL classroom. So here we have our agenda for today. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on with it. It wasn't there. Okay, so here we have the agenda for today. First of all, I'm going to let you know a little bit about my teaching context. Then, as I said, I'm going to talk a little bit about the transactional strategy instruction, and we are going to review some practices that we develop in our classes. Oh my goodness, something is wrong here. I apologize for this. Oh no, I don't know what's going on here.
Don't worry, dear Oderay, take your time.
I guess I guess I have to change the computer. I don't know what's going on here.
Okay. So maybe if you want, we can change the order and let Zuleika start her presentation. Is that okay? Or you want to wait?
No, I will appreciate it. So in that way, we don't miss time. Yes,
Okay,
thank you.
okay.
My apologies for that.
No, no, don't worry. Don't worry. It always happens to the best speakers. Remember, only to the best speakers. Zuleika, are you around? Are you ready, Zuleika, so she can fix the problem she has?
Yes, Jaime.
Okay, thank you so much, dear Zuleika. And you may start.
Okay.
You've got 40 minutes, Zuleika.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to share my screen. Yeah, I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
And today, can you see my screen?
It's coming, it's coming. There it is.
Okay, today I'm going to share the presentation, Breaking the Monotony, and I'm going to share some ideas for teaching English in high school. My name is Zuleika Zapateiro, and I am a proud member of Panama TESOL. Okay, then, well, the agenda for today, I'm going to introduce a little background of my teaching context, where I work, yes, my students' background, a little of that. Then we're going to continue with a warm-up activity, and then later I'm going to share some ideas for teaching English. Apply also in my teaching context. Also, strategies for moving beyond the traditional lessons. I provide some information about the theoretical background, and we will conclude with wrap up and questions and answers. Then, let's re-energize how we teach English. Maybe the photo that you can observe reflects some years ago, yes, how we change the way we teach. Yes, things changed, and we have to take new ideas, improve, take the risk, take the challenge to change the strategy and the way in which we teach English. So what makes a lesson engaging for your students? Well, it says Mentimeter. I wanted to use Mentimeter, but maybe if you write directly in the WhatsApp, in the chat, you can provide ideas. What makes a lesson engaging for your students? Could you type in the chat, please, your answers? Let's wait. What makes a lesson engaging for your students? So I can read here. Okay, the topic is working topics that are interesting for them, of course. The activity type we choose, yes, taking into account the level of the students. Participation content is relevant, yes. The attitudes teacher, that's true. And willingness and engagement, yes. Interactive and gaming activities, oh yes. Dynamism, icebreakers, lots of interaction activities. Role plays, oh, you know a lot about the activities, and I think, of course, that you are also applying them. A nice report, of course, of course. Thank you for your answers. Thank you for replying. Well, you are true. You are correct. What makes a lesson engaging for our students? Yes, the relevant content that we decide to teach, topics interesting for them that catch their attention, maybe actual topics happening at the moment. An enthusiastic teacher. Yes, I cannot go to the classroom with my sad face. No, happy, greeting them in a polite way. Also asking, how about you? How was your day? How was this morning? Yes, connect with the students. Student participation. Someone mentioned it as student participation, motivation. Yes. Interactive activities. It's true. Nowadays, with the technology and the new, a lot of apps, resources, we can create interactive activities. And as Eva mentioned it, we have resources to create that. But what happens sometimes when we don't have all those resources, teachers, or maybe at school, you don't have all that connectivity or services to use the apps or use internet? Well, then the teacher has to create their own, let's say, interactive activities in another sense. Well, my teaching context, I work at IPT Don Bosco. It's a public high school with the Ministry of Education in Panama City. The teaching context, my students are from level 1, beginners. There is no connectivity at 100% at school, and the periods of classes are 35 minutes per class, 4 or 5 periods per week, depends on the level. So more or less, that's my teaching context. At present, I'm working with 10 graders and 1 12th grade. And the students are students from technology, refrigeration, electricity, and electronics. They are going to be future technicians. And the school is a public institution. IPT Don Bosco is a public institution with a population of 2,000 students, around 2,000 students. And we have two shifts, morning and afternoon shift. I work in the afternoon shift. So I am going to share with you in my experience what I have been doing in that sense to keep or motivate students, yeah, using ideas for my classes. Well, ideas for teaching English. It's important to remember that the use or the implementation of the 4 skills are essential in language teaching. Yes, they are connected also. Listening, speaking, reading, writing, but also vocabulary and grammar are part of this. Besides that, we have gamification. How to introduce or how to apply gamification in the English class. In education, applies that gamification is applies to gain design elements and principles for learning environments to enhance engagement and motivation in our students. Also, in my experience, I have worked at the Instituto working with 7th graders to 12th graders. So I have to adapt the activities according to their level. It involves, at the moment of using gamification, to integrate elements like giving points, giving rewards, badges, prizes, something that catch the students' attention. Yes, they want to participate, but others, we can explain that, well, at this time, no points, no rewards, but you will have the experience of working with your classmates and you are going to learn. In that sense, you develop then gamification activities. Then for examples of some activities that we can develop or I have developed in my experience. Working with vocabulary, grammar, listening, and speaking. Role play scenarios for practicing conversational skills. In that sense, I work with 10 graders and 12 graders because they will be future technicians to start having those conversations, short dialogues about helping someone to repair or install something. Yes, remember, future technicians in refrigeration, electronic, electricity, informatics. So they should know an vocabulary related to that, and then they will use in their role plays or short dialogues. Also, they can create podcasts or video per project. Yes, usually I recommend them to work in pairs for these activities. Sometimes I allow them groups no more than 4 students, no more than 4. So between 2 to 4 participants in the group. At the moment of writing activities, they can create collaborative story writing using Google Docs. If we don't have access at the moment with internet, well, using papers, they work together between 2 or 2, creating, describing pictures or writing photo stories. I organize my set of photos taken from magazines and then distribute them among them, different photos, so they will not copy from each other. So in that sense, they develop their writing activities, writing skills. They can also do diary entries or weekly journals. Diary entries activities they do every day. And for higher students, 12 graders, I ask for weekly journals, reporting activities, or something that interests them, and then place or do it written. So in that sense, creating writing activities. At the moment of gamification in English class, yes, I like and I believe in this is a strategy activity that connect with my students. Why it works? They feel motivated to participate. Yes, they want to participate in the team. And then what example of activities you can do? Well, vocabulary bingo, grammar Kahoot, or also you can find other resources, well, in internet, or you can create your own game boards. You can create your own game boards. For example, I have here some examples of the activities also done this year and years before. During the first week of classes, I decide and I like to have speaking activities. Why? Because they can connect, they can start practicing. They came from vacation. They have to know new classmates. So they have to start talking. Basic question. They are going to use vocabulary previously studied or they know, asking information questions. They have to use grammar. They have to listen and answer. They have to listen the question in order to answer. So they have to pay attention. Yes, in that sense, they are practicing. Sometimes they feel, nervous, shy, but little by little, all of them are speaking using the language, replying basic questions. This is a 10th grade group. Another activity, for example, is writing. In this case, you can create your own cards. You can create your own cards, and then, or well, in this case, I bought a game. It says, give me 5. The students take 5 cards. They have different prompts, different questions, and they have to write their answers. But at the same time, you can practice this orally. For example, types of the prompts, the questions. Give me 5 examples of irregular verbs. Name 5 presidents. Name 5 activities you do every day. So vocabulary. They are going to revise vocabulary. They can do it written or they can do it orally. And also you can create your own cards depending what topic you are teaching at the moment. We continue with gamification. Yes, creating paper strips with phrases or questions in which students have to organize. They have to complete the sentence or they have to answer the questions with the paper strips that they have. Again, it could be from a reading, it could be from a lesson. In this case, for example, we were studying irregular verbs. They have to decide or they have to look for the past, the meaning of the verb. And the class is divided in teams. So using these activities, in my experience, have functioned, and then I like it to put with them in practice. And I observe, they enjoy. There is more collaboration between students, more participation. Now, let's continue also with examples, in this case, like board games, vocabulary, grammar, listening, speaking. The MM game is one of my favorites and also one of my students' favorite. Yes, in this sense, they are going to talk according the color of the MM. Yes, and they are going to share or answer the questions there. Of course, you as a teacher have to invest buying chocolates, but also you can use candies. You can use other type of candies called different colors and then use for that. So students take an MM or a candy, and according to the color, they answer the question. Of course, they like it, they enjoy, and they have fun. And they want every week to have the activity. But of course, I try to adapt and change, not having the same activities. At the writing activity, for example, this is the table, a board game. Use a word. They are using vocabulary. They can create or write sentences with that words or phrases. They can write or they can say orally, or they can give a definition. So we can use the board, the board game, yes, for speaking, for writing. Again, gamification. You create a board game, you find in internet, and sometimes using, for 7th graders, I decide to create my own board games and then allow them to work in the classroom. Collaboration, participation, it's important. So of course, you can decide what material or what content you want to use in the board games or the MN. You create your own material. And for example, using the website of americanenglish.state.gov, you can find the collection of material and board game resources for classes. Also, it's important to remember that using board games, there is a variety of board games that you can use. Board games for warm-up activities, for action and mind games, for vocabulary games, for writing games, speaking games. And of course, you can use at the level of high school, but also you can use or apply maybe to your students at university. Depends on you. Well, it's important also that we take into account that we should apply strategies for moving beyond the traditional lessons. Traditionally, we want students, well, in the classroom, sitting, no move, but yeah, we have to change that way. And also the way that we prepare or design the lessons. It's important to take into account the use of technology creatively. We as teachers have to continue updating with the use of technology with the purpose that later we can explain and teach them how to use it. It's interesting to connect lessons to real life context and students' interest. Yeah, you mentioned it at the beginning, what makes to engage with students. So yeah, connect the lessons to real life situations and student interest. And then promote active student-centered learning. Students have to be the center. Yes, how to connect with them. Then some activities could be using technology creatively, creating a digital storytelling or creating projects, designing, creating digital portfolios, creating virtual tours at a workshop or a repair shop, yes. Digital portfolios about a country they would like to visit, about their last vacation, yes. They are going to use technology in a creative way, using nowadays different apps, well, Canva, Magic. Yeah, there are Padlet. It's a good one. I like it, Padlet, for creating the portfolios. In addition, connect the lessons to the real life context and students' interest. Oh, mistake. So discuss current events. What is happening in their city, in their countries, in the provinces. Now in Panama, we are divided in provinces, yes. So the topics, technology, innovation, climate change, social media, yes, they are connected to social media nowadays, health, self-care, education, careers, what are their purpose, what they want to study in the future, what they think about education, bilingual education, about the language. So topics that connect with them and things that are real for them. Providing, for example, my students of 10 and 12 graders who will be technicians, how to connect, how to give instructions to the client or how to, give service, attention to them. Promoting active student-centered learning. Yes, let students also now to talk, to express through debates or presentations. And also we have to train them, to give them some orientation, guide them through this, but using the language. Yes, they are going to have fun, they're going to participate, they're going to connect and keep motivated. Yes, okay, now going to the theory. It's important also to have in mind and review and keep in mind as teachers, yeah, at the moment of use these activities, it has some it implies some theoretical background. We want students to communicate, to speak, to write correctly, to use the language in a positive and good way. So we focus using communicative language teaching. It focuses on real world communication and fluency and accuracy. Yeah, we want them to pronounce correctly. We want them to use the vocabulary and have that fluency. The activities, role plays, debates, discussion-based activities. Number 2, task-based language teaching. Again, we use real life tasks as the foundation for language learning. What application or what classroom application we can give? They have to solve problems. They have to design projects or simulations. Yeah. Gamification and motivation. So the turning, the author and others, found that gamification enhances engagement, connect with engagement and participation. They want to participate, they want to win, yes? Then you can have activities, leaderboards, digital badges, or they can receive, prizes, stickers. There is a competition, a positive competition in the classroom. If you can use the technology, then you apply the quizzes, you can have Kahoot, you can have Mentimeter. But also you can use other activities that not require technology. Student-centered learning. According to Vygotsky, emphasize that social interaction and scaffolding. Yes, it's important to take students step by step at the moment of the learning. Classroom application, how can you use that? Activities in which they think, pair, and share. Pairs of students, group of students. I prefer no more than 4 students. Flipped classrooms or peer teaching. So using these theories or these theories, yes, you can apply and design activities according your students' needs, according your students' level, according the topic that you are teaching. And as I mentioned it has function in my teaching context, teaching in a public school and working with students from 7 to 10 grades. So let's summarize as key takeaways. To have a balance of using the 4 language skills at the moment of designing or presenting your classes to your students. Use integrated activities in which integrate students, role plays, podcasts, developing listening, speaking, reading, writing in a meaningful way, and real life context activities. Gamify the learning experience is not just to give them games to spend time there. No, you use the activity in which students, motivation grows to the game-based strategies. They are going to play and learn. Promote creative and collaborative writing. Yes, it's an experience for them, right? Maybe starting with short sentences, but little by little, they can have a paragraph. And later they have a short story, why not? So they start by themselves, maybe individually too, but later they go in a collaboration with a group. Embark student-centered real-world learning, changing from traditional lessons to student-led approaches that connect English to real-life tasks, interaction and critical thinking. And then finally, use technology and theory-driving strategies. Apply proven language teaching theories. Communicative language teaching, task-based learning teaching, gamification. Use accessible tools. If you have access, you can use it, Kahoot, Padlet, Jamboard, and others to enrich the lessons. But also, if you don't have that connectivity, you can, as a teacher, you can design and create your own activities and materials applied to your context. Now, some references. Well, Brown, HD, Teaching by Principles, an interactive approach. Ellis, Task-Based Language Learning and Teaching. Richards and Richards and Rogers, Approaches and Methods in Language Teaching. And the website of www.americanenglishstate.gov. In this case, the Forum magazines. Have you heard about the Forum magazines, maybe? Yes. It's a website, a resource that you can find a lot of ideas and resources for teaching classes. And the most important, it's free for us. Free. And then, well, it's a time for questions and answers. comments, ideas.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, dear Zuleika. I guess we all have been reflecting and remembering some things that we forgot, maybe. I like what you said about balance the 4 language skills, because personally, what I like to do is to develop my students' speaking skills. And sometimes I neglect the other ones. Also, gamify the learning experience. I love that sentence. Promote creative and collaborative writing, something that I am not doing so much recently, and embrace real world learning. Very, very practical ideas that you have shared with us. Thank you for that, dear Zuleika. And let's give some time for other people who want to express their points of view, ideas, and compliments to your presentation. Very professional, including references and this moment of questions and answers. Okay, anybody here in the audience who wants to express? Yeah, Irma Guzman in Ecuador, please go on. And then Mary Scholl in Costa Rica.
Yeah, thank you, Zuleika. I really enjoy your presentation. And as Jaime just said, you let us remind ourselves a few things that we needed to be reminded. But I was wondering about, what a challenge has to be to work and teach only for 35 minutes. Thank you for sharing that background. That was a surprise. I mean, most of the time I teach 45, 50 minutes, but then you have to do everything, the warm-up, the introduction, the content, the practice, repetition, reinforcement, everything within 35 minutes. And that's amazing. So you must go into that class very well prepared, very well organized. So, actually teach your students. So if you can comment on that, I will really appreciate your answer. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So maybe Irma on her next presentation, Zuleika, because she will also be again with us, I'm sure she could present a practical class showing us how she does that in 30 minutes. Thank you so
35
much.
minutes.
Yeah,
35. Yeah.
Yeah.
And check attendance. Yeah. And call attention. Yeah.
Oh my
To the
God.
challenge.
I want to see that. Mary Scholl.
That's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Zuleika. That was amazing. And I also agree with Irma, like 35 minutes. Wow. I love that you show how much you can do in 35 minutes. I also really love and think it's amazing that you're really clear on all that we can do with no connectivity. It was great that you showed those ideas, because that is always what I call the yes buts. The teachers were like, yes, that's a great idea, but I can't do it because I don't have connectivity. Yes, but I can't do that. So, your experience and what you're sharing with us kind of stands up to those yes buts.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. And also, I want to piggyback on what Freddie Garita wrote in the chat. He says he loves gamification and that it fosters incidental learning, which also enhances linguistic and communicative competences. And I agree. I also love the gamification. I love that you shared that. I love that you shared the resources from American English. There's a lot of great games there that all we have to do, of course, we have to be connected so that we can see them and then download them, but our students don't need to be connected. And so thank you for sharing those really vivid images of your students playing those games and interacting. I was like, yay, 2,000 students too. Oh my God.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you,
Yes.
dear. Glenda and Juan's, please. Glenda?
Yes, well, congratulations, Zuleika, and also, well, she's super professional. I've seen her, and she's reminded us, well, I'm teaching online at the moment, but what she said was like, it resonated with me, like, yes, this is what I used to do when I was teaching in person, and I have also worked at public schools, and so I have like an idea of what she does, and you gain that with experience, and you can see she's very experienced, and what she's shared is like a reminder of all the things we can do, and well, congratulations and a big hug.
Thank you, dear Glenda.
Thank
Okay,
you.
and finally, Juan's iPhone. Juan? Hello, Juan?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yes.
hear. Yes, we
Hello,
can.
Zuleika. Congratulations. This is Juan Rios from Chicago,
Oh,
Illinois. I'm so proud of you. I was having chills here just by listening to your professional lecture about using different resources, especially when we do not have internet access in our country. One thing I want to point out is like I love how you talk about engaging students with social issues within their communities. I think that is so important because sometimes students, especially English language learners, see English as something that happens somewhere else and not within their own community. So thank you so much for that reminder. As a culturally responsive scholar, kudos for you. Very proud of you, and you did an amazing job. That's it.
thank you, Juan.
Thank you, dear Juan, for your comments. Thanks a lot. Well, dear Zuleika, just like Eva, we would like to see you again on a practical presentation showing us how you do that magnificent work in 35 minutes, which everybody says, wow, how she does it. Thank you, Zuleika. Something to say?
Thank you, Juan, and thank you, Jaime, for this opportunity. And then, yes, yeah, we have 5 periods of classes, just one day, 2 periods together. That makes 70 minutes, but the rest of the days, that's 35.
Okay.
Thank you so much for,
No,
the participation,
thank you.
the audience. Yes, thank you for your
Thank you, dear
comments.
Zuleika. Thank you so much for such insightful presentation. Well, and now it's time to present Oderay. Hello, Oderay, are you there? Oderay? Is she around?
Yes, hello, I'm here.
Where are you? Ah, yeah, you're
Hello.
okay. I hope your
Oh,
presentation goes smooth today. Now.
hopefully. Okay, let's see this now.
Okay, thank you, Mary, for being around, and see you soon. Okay, don't travel so much. Okay, there it is.
Okay.
We can see your presentation, Oderay.
Yes?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Just a minute. Can you see it now?
Yeah,
Completely
perfect.
the full script, screen?
Yeah, it's
full
perfect.
screen. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to repeat this. I want to apologize for the inconvenience, but well, now we are going to continue with this topic, which is empowering A1 readers, teaching strategic reading to Spanish-speaking learners through TSI. For this session, we have just 2 specific objectives. The first one is to explore the transactional strategy instruction, which is an alternative to teach reading strategies, and then to provide and share with you some of the activities that we practice in our classroom to enhance comprehension and engagement in mixed ability EFL class. For that, our agenda today is, first of all, to share a little bit about our teaching context, but as Zuleika and I work in the same institution, I know that you already have a little bit of our background. Then to introduce the strategic, this transactional strategy instruction, the TSI, and as I said before, to review some of the activities that we do in our classroom. And finally, we have some minutes for question and answer. Okay, so we start with the where and why. It is at IPT Don Bosco, which is a public vocational school. We call it in Panama technical schools. We also have to say that our school is one of the more than 300 schools, which are inclusive schools. So in our classroom, we have from 3 to 5 students with learning disabilities. But specifically in our teaching context, most of them have been diagnosed as mild or moderate intellectual disabilities. So that's why that in our classroom, we have different backgrounds, learning styles, learning speed, and even some students are, different literacy in their own language. So what is TSI, the Transactional Strategy Instruction? Okay, the Transactional Strategy Instruction is an approach or a teaching strategy to teach reading strategies. Okay, it is not a new one at all. It was implemented in the late 90s, and it was first used with English-speaking students who have troubles with reading. So it was a way to help them to overcome their reading difficulties. This specific strategy, teaching strategy, caught my attention because it focuses on few strategies at a time. So we go step by step, one by one. It also supports memory and comprehension and teaches explicit instructions. So everything should be crystal clear. So we try to do that. So there are some phases in the transactional strategy instruction. We have 3 phases. The first one in which the teacher explain, demonstrate, models. Then we have the second phase in which the teachers provide as many practices as he or she can and monitor students. And of course, in the third phase, we hope our students start being aware of their learning process and acquire those reading strategies and use them when they are going to read. So today we are going to focus on 3 of these strategies: activating prior knowledge, questioning, and summarizing. But before that, I want to talk again a little bit about explicit instruction, because it is one of the key components of the transactional strategy instruction. And as I said before, we have to use simple, complete statements. We have to model, and when we model, we have to describe each step of the things that we are doing. We have to use visuals, realia, and also to help our students with sentence starters and guided questions. So at the end, something that we should remember and keep in mind is that using the transactional strategy instruction, the teacher provides guidance to the students at every step, and also that it's long-term goal to help students to be active strategic readers. So now let's move to the first strategy, which is prior knowledge. In this one, it helps students to connect their prior knowledge with the new one. So here, the first activity in which we ask our students to look at the pictures, to have to write 1 or 2 words related to the images or pictures. And sometimes we give them time. It depends on your students. It depends on the available time that you have. For example, you can see that we only have 35 minutes to teach. So sometimes we say, okay, you have 1 minute to do this. You have 45 seconds, but you have 1 minute and a half. And we usually do this part individually. Then we ask them to work with a partner. And to do that, we also have like some routines. Okay, if we have 4 rows and we make something like this, they know that I refer to the ones that are in the middle. So I make it like this, and then like this, and they have that those are the rules I have to move to encounter his or her partner. Or if I make it like this, they know I'm talking about the ones that are at the corners, and they have to move like this to have to encounter the partners and work. So in that way, we save time. So they have to work together, and they have to decide the topic they think, or maybe the title of the reading. And finally, they share it with the whole class. They do it orally. They can go to the board and write it down, or they can show little pieces of paper to everybody just to show it, or using little whiteboards. So here we have it. I invite you to write what do you think is the topic is. So you can write it down in the chat box. So you have 30 seconds. Let's see. Any idea about the topic of the reading? Oh yes, Glenda says safety at work. Rosanna says safety tools. Thank you, Glenda and Rosanna. Okay, let's see. Okay, it could be safety rules, it could be safety equipment, safety tools, or be safe at work too. Okay, so let's go with the next activity. This is another version of how we can activate prior knowledge. And here we have that we can use different interaction patterns. We can use individual work or pair work. In the first one, I use first individual and then pair work. But in this one, I use pair work immediately. So they have to read the words of phrases, then they have to decide again what the topic is, and they have to share the answer with the whole class. And here you go. Electron emphasis. So I would like you to tell me in the chat box. I invite you to write what do you think the topic is now. Marima says working with electricity. Yes. Someone else? Okay, let's see. Oh, power. Okay, here we have the big topic. The big topic is electricity. Thanks for your participation. And here we have a third version of it. Okay, it also can be individual or in pairs. I used to work in pairs. So in this one, we have the combination of the previous ones. Okay, and we have the word and we have the picture both together. And this is also taking in account the different learning styles and the different our different students, the different students we have in our classroom. So let's see this one. Here, the big topic is tools. Now we are going to move to the next strategy. And the next strategy is questioning. Okay. So in this one, it helps students to understand and comprehend the reading text. In this one, you can see here I have the reading text. By the way, this reading text was created with artificial intelligence. Yes, I also make use of artificial intelligence sometimes to help myself to create or adapt different classes to my students. So we have this one, which is about the Jose Camargo. And what we do is, according to the time that we have, sometimes we ask our students, or we give our students some minutes to read silently, individually. If we have the 2 hours together, you know, like a block hours, then we can say, okay, you're going to work with a partner and you're going to read in groups. And you have 5 minutes to do that. And then you say, okay, now let's read it like a pop-up reading. So this little group starts reading, this other group read the second paragraph, and the other one read the last paragraph. So something like that before going to the questions. And this is just to help students to be, you know, related and to know the content of the reading. So here we have an activity called Questions in a Hat. In this one, we ask our students to read the text, they already did it, and then we ask them, we distribute some pieces of paper from different colors, and we ask them to write down 1 or 2 sentences we give them some time, and then we go around with a hat. They have to put the hat there, the slips there, sorry, the piece of paper, and then we take it, and again, we can do it, or we can ask one of the students to pass around with a hat, so they have to take out one of the questions and answer it with his or her partner, and then they share it at the end. So here we have another reading with other instructions. This time, this reading is taken from one of their textbooks. And there we have, with the same reading, we have two different instructions. We can use the first one. We said, write a question for each of the underlined statements. So in that way, we are guiding our students. Or we can ask them to write one yes/no question, one information question from the text. Or we can say, no, instead of one, let's have 2 questions or 3 questions on top of this, 3 of this other. It depends on the time that we have. It depends on our students. And it also depends on our purpose. But here the purpose is to help our students to develop their reading strategies. And here we have another reading, and this is one that we used to do. This is really common. We give our students the reading, and you see this one. This one is taken from one of the textbooks too, and we give them the instructions. So they have to do that while they read. So as you read, look at the answers, look for the answers to this specific question. So we give them the questions, so they have to go through the reading and find them. We usually have this kind of activities, but according to this strategy, teaching strategy, we should not stop there. We have another step. And with this another step, we should give a time for our student to reflect in that process. No? So we should ask them questions. It was easy or hard to find the answers. Where in the text did you find the answer? Which one you find first? What did you do to find it? How was it? So they have to reflect on that, and they discuss it first with the partner, and then with the whole class. So now we have to move to another teaching strategy or reading strategy, which is summarizing. And with this one, we have different activities. We have one sentence summary, we have the WH questions, who, what, when, where, why. And when we use the WH question, it is supposed that already in our grammar classes, we have taught them a little bit about how to write questions. Or probably we have some sentences like prompts or modeling sentences in the board or displayed in the classroom, okay? We can also have group activities that we read. We can have group activities to know or to summarize the reading. Or we can have posters designed that they can cut pictures and paste it, or if there is someone that is a great drawer, he can draw and they can present it to their class. We can do it as the different ways they can do it, or the different way they send the summary and they present it, or we can use it with different reading. It depends on you. So here we have another reading, the ancient Egyptians. And with this one, we ask our student to work with a partner again. As I said, I used to ask my students to work with someone else. And they have to write 2 or 3 sentences, and then I give them some guiding questions. Remember that you should include this information: where the ancient Egyptians lived, what activities did they do, and the one that I'm going to present is the answer of one of the students last year. So I was really surprised the way they summarize it. You know, they say ancient Egyptians lived in Africa, they hunted animals, transported food, and played music. Ancient Egyptians were a great civilization. And when I asked them, how did they do that? They said, well, we just selected the things that were together, you know, like hunted animals, like transported food, because they have those phrases previously in some vocabulary practices. So maybe they made use of that in their reading activity. Something that is really important if we want them to be aware of their progress is to help them with little journals. So they have my reading journal. You can give them the templates and they can work on that. And this is an individual work, okay? So they can have this in their notes. So the first thing we ask them, what strategy did you use? It could be daily, if we have reading all the time. That is not true, but they can have it weekly because we try to have at least one short reading during the week. And then we can ask them, was it difficult? Was it easy? Why? And we give them some options to select. The idea is that in the future, they can do it by themselves. But in the first stages, we are guiding them. Here we have another one. How did the strategy help you? To warm up, I want to say that this activity helps students to strengthen memory, comprehension, and problem-solving skill. All of these are key components when we talk about reading, when we talk about developing reading strategies and understanding what they read. We also have foster self-awareness and metacognitive thinking, as they can keep a track and follow the different steps and their progress by themselves with journals, and to promote active participation and meaningful collaboration. I use a lot of teamwork. So in that way, we made the reading practices and the reading activities more inclusive for all the students. Here we have some references that we have used to develop this work, and we only want to say thank you very much for being here. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Jaime. And if you have any questions, well, let me know. I'm here.
Number one, thank you, dear Oderay. Good presentation with very creative ideas about the different strategies we can do to develop our students' different skills. I like all the three presentations, very professional ones, and I'm sure that people here will also like to make some comments and give you some feedback, dear Oderay and dear Zuleika. For example, here there is a question. Freddy Garcia asked, is this and the previous presentation intended to teach English for specific purposes?
Well, let me tell you that all our students are, Zuleika and I said, they are A1 or minus A1. We have mixed ability students within our classroom, and as in the program, in the curriculum that we have from the Ministry of Education, it is general English. However, at the IPT Don Bosco, we know that our students need technical English. So we include it in our plannings. Because as we know, talking about reading, almost all the updated information in the field of technology and almost in any field is written in English. So they really need to understand what they read. So yes, it is not, we do not teach exactly English for a specific purpose. However, we include it because it is part of the needs of our students.
Right, depending on the needs of our students. I agree with you. There is another question by the same person, Freddy Garcia. How feasible are these strategies, especially when you are teaching A-1 and A-2?
Well, what we do is, for example, if they say words in Spanish, we say it in English, Spanish, English, and then we repeat it in English again. So we go step by step.
Of course.
And it is not only the reading. Previous to the reading, they also have vocabulary practices.
And we are checking, right, depending on how the students react, because not all the students learn the same way, right?
Exactly, and that's why they work in teams, because always there is one that know a little bit about this, the other one needs a little. So they join and combine their knowledge, and they help each other.
Right. Well, let me give some time for some people. If anybody wants to make a comment, a question, yeah, Irma Guzman in Ecuador, go on. And then Roxy Tenorio in Lima, Peru.
Yeah, Oderay, I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Oderay, okay, Oderay. Thank you for your presentation. And yes, connecting to maybe the question about teaching technical English. That's why I was surprised when you were using for activating prior knowledge, you know, those kinds of images, because I have never used those, but your context is different. So by the way of introducing the boots and you know, the glasses and the helmet and everything, and then the vocabulary related to electricity, it's just hit my head. It's like, wow, she's teaching, you know, electricians, maybe somebody that's going to be technicians at the end when they graduate. So I think that was that was great. Balancing general English with thank you. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful presentation from Panama TESOL.
Yeah, I agree
you.
with that. Excellent presentation from Panama TESOL. Yeah, dear Roxy, go on in Lima.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much, Oderay. And I wanted to express my gratitude for the simple way you did something very hard. What is scaffolding? She did a very clear presentation of this. And guys, let me share my experience in this case, because this is helpful for whatever. Not only technical students, it's for general English professionals. Because, well, I was looking at her presentation while she was activating prior knowledge, questioning, reading for gist, giving a question, specific questions are reflecting. She reminds me the preparation for exams for little kids, flyers, movers, cats, pets, and even FC for school. It is exactly the same thing that we do. That is when we want to get them to get through the gist, how to describe something, how to start writing an email, how to start writing a story through pictures. It's exactly what we do. It's helpful for whatever we do. So the word is only for the specific one. It's the way they guide them. And I'm definitely sure they're using Realia. Sometimes it helps us to avoid using the Spanish in classes, and that helps. The thing is, how do we personalize the material? I really think that 35 minutes, as Irma and somebody else mentioned before, is quite difficult to do so, but being guided in this way, the student will learn doing a lot of complicated things in a very easy way. Just gaming or just doing this activity, and that's true. You're doing a very good job, Oderay, and that's very nice, your scaffolding activity. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, and activating the students' previous knowledge, right, dear Rosie?
Exactly.
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you. Nice to see you again. And Glenda Gallardo, GG.
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you, Oderay. Yes, and a big hug from here, from Peru. And yes, everything that she's done, definitely, it's something that shows she has the methodology to teach a language, right? Because when people don't know, they just say like the class or they have another way to approach how this is going to be taken by the students. But if you have the methodology, yes, it could be like you know how to guide them, and in the end, this will, in the long run, you will see the results, because this will happen not overnight, but the way she's doing it is leading them to something, and it's going to be a very strong foundation for what is coming. And it may be sometimes like for us outsiders, or maybe the learners who don't know about the language and how this is acquired, like, oh, this is very simple, or maybe they are just going to write a sentence or do this, but that is very powerful in the end, and that is going to be a very, as I said a few seconds ago, a strong foundation for what is coming. So congratulations, and you are always doing a very good job, and as they said, everything depends on the context. Every class is different, every group is different, and the same topic then has to be maybe changed and adapted, and that will just continue changing and evolving depending on the classes, but you need to have the methodology, and you can see these guys have that very clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenda.
Thank you, Glenda.
Yeah, Freddy
Thank
Garip
you,
is
Glenda.
asking, I was wondering if I can have these presentations sent to my email. I'd be really grateful. My email account is, there it is. Well, let's see what happens if the speakers agree on sending me the
Yes.
PPTs, and then I will charge you $20 for sending, for sending them to your personal emails. Well, Juan again in the USA.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, Oderay, one more time. You did an amazing job, and FYI, I am Oderay's mentor, so seeing my mentee shining like a star is such an amazing and rewarding experience. And I just want to point out that I really like this approach, how you included the teaching of a new language, and also especially with students with learning disabilities, and I don't like to use the word disability, to be honest, but in this case, I think you did an amazing job. But as a veteran teacher, I can tell you, at the end of the day, it is about good teaching, and I think that your examples here valid that approach, that it is beyond, lesson plans are good, but I could feel a sense of care and a love in what you were speaking. You're a very passionate speaker and teacher, so kudos for you and congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you, Juan.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm sharing my WhatsApp number with everyone who's here. So you just want, if I get the PowerPoint, I will send you through the WhatsApp, which is easier, okay? So Orlando and Freddy and everybody else, if you copy my WhatsApp number, that'll be easier, because sometimes it's too heavy and then we cannot send it through email. So it's time for us to say goodbye. Thank you once again, dear Eva, Oderay, and Zuleika. It was very, very, very satisfying, very rewarding to meet you, three great professionals from Panama. I haven't been to Panama yet. I guess Glenda has been there many times.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I know them because we meet every TESOL convention.
All right.
And other in Bolivia, other
So
conventions.
our next trip, Glenda, Panama. We
I
need to
love
go to.
You are more than welcome to come to Panama.
We'll go first Canada and then Panama, right, Raj? So thank you so much, dear Eva, Zuleika, and Oderay. Once again, why the best teachers, professors, and speakers are ladies, are girls. I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised everywhere I go. Every webinar we have, always the best. Sorry, guys, are ladies. So thank you so much. I don't know if any. Raj, of course, the president has something to say.
Well, it's I'm just so fascinated by what I heard today. I'm not using them. I was afraid of them. I phoned Yvonne and I said, "There's something on my computer that's a real problem. Can you help me?" It was Chat GPT. So anyway, to stay, it enhances our learning and it creates more options for us. That's what you offered, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
Yeah, so I will invite each of you again, dear Oderay, Zuleika, and Eva, to present a full-time workshop. And before that, just let me remind you our next presentation is with Mr. James Swizzler, a great professional from Australia who lives in Colombia, and he will be talking about reworking social linguistic competence in additional language teaching. That'll be on June the 8th, okay, in just 2 weeks, I guess. Okay, so I hope to have you all here. So now time for you, Oderay and Zuleika, to say goodbye because Eva is working. Wow. So dear Oderay.
Once again, I want to say thank you to all of you for being here. Thank you, Jaime, for the invitation. It has been a great experience.
No, and thanks, Maria Gracia, because she contacted you and she has helped me with all the contacts of Ecuador TESOL, Bolivia TESOL, and all the TESOL. She's given me not only one hand, but her two hands. And Zuleika?
Well, thank you, Jaime. Thanks the audience for being here, attending our workshop, and also sharing your comments with us. And we hope that you took some ideas and you could put in practice the following weeks. So thank you. And yeah, hope to see you soon in many other.
We'll be in Panama soon, right, Glenda?
I love to do that. Yes.
So
let's
start saving money. Let's start saving money. So thank you everyone for being here. Raj, Irma, Cordel, Mauricio, Nazaria, Carlos, María Elena Porras. Oh, María Elena Porras. Hello. Haven't seen you for ages. María Elena is from Panama and she was working in Peru and in Piura many years ago. Oderay, Carmen, Swad, Zoom user, Tania, Piti, Marisa, Matisa, Rivera, Freddy, Jenny, Stephanie, and everyone else in Facebook Live. See you on June the 8th. Have a good Sunday and see you and thank you, Panama. Thank you, Panama. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jaime. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Time for me to do the cooking, the washing up, and the ironing. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Have a nice evening.
Bye-bye. Take care.